it's Katelyn and Adam from Enta Asks. Click on the subscribe button below so you never miss an episode.
Also, you can follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook.
Hello and welcome to Enta Asks. I'm Adam Kolozetti.
And I'm Katelyn Bullock.
And
we're the founders of Enta Solutions. And who do we have today, Adam?
We have Stan Peake. Stan Peake is the founder of InSite Performance Coaching, and he himself is an executive coach and all-around great guy. So Stan, welcome to our show.
Thank you guys. Speaking of great folks, always a pleasure just to spend time with you both. Thank you for having me, and let's have a great time today.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Very impressed with your tree. I think I have to start there. Your Christmas tree looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's because I didn't touch it.
Good man. Credit where credit's due.
This is wife, my son, and my niece. I literally may have put like 3 ornaments on.
Right.
I know when to just get out of the way and pour myself a drink.
Those 3 were perfectly placed. I
right,
see
exactly.
it now, right?
They nailed it. Totally.
Right. And speaking of perfectly placed, Stan, so you're an executive coach. How did you become to be an executive coach?
Great question, and I love it. And you know what I found, what I didn't know at the time is that the way I became an executive coach is that I became the help I wish I had years ago. That's really what it was. You know, long story short, I had owned a couple businesses in the health and fitness space, was in that industry that I loved for 18 years. In my second business, not just my business partner who started the business and I were bought out and acquired, and we went through a merge. Learned a ton, you know, worked with amazing people, amazing experience to take 2 very different cultures and have to merge them together. And I would say our merge was a financial success because we prioritized the culture and the people. But with all that success, it was interesting because what I also found out after the fact, success teaches you way less than failure does. I failed. And when you fall on your face, you get up and you dust yourself off and you learn, what can I do differently next time? But when you get bought out and you get a nice big paycheck, then it doesn't teach you anything. If anything, it makes you comfortable. And when you're comfortable, you take the foot off the gas. So after like an 18-year successful career and lots of amazing memories and lessons, I actually went through a washing machine of about 2 years of feeling purposeless. And I'm huge on purpose. You guys know that. And so, you know, I really figured my purpose out at 21 years old. Luck. I wouldn't say I'm that smart. I just was, you know, I found my passion early. I had my purpose figured out from the age of 21 till probably the age of, you know, not the whole 18 years, but most. And by about 37, 38, when we got bought out, I really started feeling, even though the company was doing awesome stuff, I started feeling purposeless. So I did so much personal development, took courses, took, you know, 360-degree review, went back to school, did all those things. And then I realized after a 360 and all these lessons that helping people through coaching and inspiring them was my biggest gift. And so that really, I was like, okay, well, I guess I had been coaching people for 20 years almost. Now I was going to coach people, but it was going to be towards their purpose, how they can have more impact on the world. And so I chose the avenue of business coaching because I am an entrepreneur. I love business, but I also love helping people with what's between their ears. Super long answer to your short question, but that's how I became a coach.
That's really great, Stan. Like, I love that there's that passion and that purpose. And, you know, you and I have had lots of chats about purpose, and it's so important. But, you know, I like to hear the stories about your lessons. Like, tell me, like, you failed. I mean, I want to know what happened there.
Yeah, absolutely. I failed. I actually closed my first business. By the way, we don't have enough time to talk about all my failures, but I'll just go for the big ones. So my first business I closed because I had an opportunity. It was a fitness business. It was a personal training business. And I'd seen some success, but I had this opportunity to be the national strength and conditioning director for the largest fitness, I guess, franchise in the world for all of Canada. And so I was going to be the big top fitness guy in Canada for, I'm not going to say the name of the company, but most people are probably guessing correctly. And so I closed my business. There was a lot of upset clients. I had clients tell me that they would be clients for life. And I took those clients and I referred them to other personal trainers. Didn't take any money from those trainers, just found them a good home. And then moved around the country, opened clubs, lots of different places. And all of a sudden, the last club I opened, there was 4 different builders liens leverage against the place, because it turns out the CEO hadn't been paying a lot of the trades, was cutting corners, and was unethical. So I left a business where clients loved me, closed it, and ended up working for a guy who was, shady. Let's just say that. So, that's ended up moving to Vancouver for that. I was like, well, I burnt all these bridges and, lost an opportunity, I thought. That was a pretty big one. If I follow it into Vancouver, at that point in my career, I'd always been getting by on talent. I'd worked hard. I learned. I had this insatiable passion to learn at that time, specifically about sports science and how the body worked. I wanted to know right down to the level of a chemical reaction. What happened when you ate this or did this muscle contraction? And so that's what made me successful. What didn't make me successful, I wasn't that organized, and I wasn't doing a ton of personal development. I did a lot, but I skipped the big stuff. And you guys know this, but when I was young, I was bullied, and then that led me to football, and brought all my insecurity with me to the football locker room. And then started chewing tobacco with the football guys, because it was my first real taste of acceptance. That carried with me. So even though I was in a fitness business, I was a hypocrite. I was addicted to chewing tobacco. And so that led me to my second and most monumental failure, where I wasn't making the changes I need to personally. I was addicted. I couldn't afford the apartment I was in, so I had to move out. I had to sleep at work. I was homeless for a month. I basically, quit chew. I had no goals. I was going nowhere. By the way, you know why I'm so big on purpose? And my purpose is to lift people towards their potential. It's because I had none. I was living 0% of my potential. So when you say things like, I want to lift people towards their potential, it sounds like a Hallmark card until you realize that this is a dude who was homeless with no goals, who slept at work for a month and was going nowhere, not like in the face, staring back at them in the mirror, and just, was a fraction of what he could be. So that was a huge series of mistakes of just, I was too comfortable. I wasn't making the changes, all those things. I made mistakes in my leadership, after quitting Chew and getting back on track, and literally tripling my income within a year and getting into an ownership position.
Time out. I want to know what switched. What switched to make you look at yourself and go, okay, I'm making the change?
What switched? I've got 2 great parents. I had a great childhood besides the bullying. I've been surrounded by love in that sense. I'm a good guy. I grew up with good people, and thank you. I know I'm a good guy. Like, I really do. Am I the best guy? No. Am I the nicest guy? No. I'm certainly not the most patient guy. Back on track. I know I'm a good person, but I didn't like myself then. And I was far enough off of who I am that I got to the point where I didn't like myself. And that's where I knew it was just absolutely time to change. I also, like I said, I had no goals and I was going nowhere. I watched people around me that I knew, or at least felt, were less talented, had been doing it less time, were less dedicated to their craft, and they were, getting promotions and raises, and I was just stuck. And that is a horrible feeling. Like, I am a really driven guy. Mm-hmm. And for anyone out there listening who is driven, we know that being stuck in any way, shape, or form is like worse than purgatory. It's hell. So feeling stuck, watching other people who deserved it more, but were less talented, move past, I was like, no, this is all on me. This is brutal. And that just made me mad enough and sick of it enough to change. And, it's not a great feeling not liking yourself. So it was pretty quick to quit Chew, start writing down some goals, open up feedback. I talked to my boss. I told him what was going on. He thought I had like a drug problem. But I was like, this is what's going on. And he said he knew it was something. But to get all of that, it felt like a 1,200-pound gorilla off my back. And then I had the freedom and the permission to be human, because before it was like you had to have all the answers. In a leadership position, I felt like I had to have all the answers. Here I could just be human, I could be flawed. And it was funny because the ability to be flawed actually was what gave me the permission to go forward full on, take risks and make mistakes, because the mistakes were small, right? When you try to be perfect, you don't get in the arena because you're afraid that you're going to have a real public failure. When you kind of start with like, hey, I messed up, then any mistake after that is like nothing by comparison. And now I'm not afraid to fail at all. Like I fail all the time, whether it's pitching, Entrepreneur Magazine, or pitching a book publisher, or, a client that I don't get, whatever it is. But, there's an old saying that perfection is the enemy of execution. That sounds nice on a postcard, but I really think that perfection is like the enemy of even happiness.
Yeah.
Because if you think you got to be perfect, you're not even going to try.
Well, I love that, you talk about being in the arena, right? And you're now helping people get in the arena because you fought your way into the arena, right? That was not an easy road for you, right? Still
fighting. I think it's important for people to realize, like, I don't talk from like, hey, I made it, let me show you how. Like, I'm still in the arena, still getting my butt kicked. And that's why I'm able to help people.
I hope you enjoyed that episode as much as we did. So remember, if you know somebody who should be our guest on our next show, just click the link below.
Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe so that you'll never miss an episode.